When you guys were doing the early development for this game, what made you decide to go third person as opposed to first person?
So Bend Studio, we've been making games for over 20 years, and every one of our games has always been a third-person shooter. So what we like about third-person is we're building a narrative-driven game. And for me, having a character that I can see on the screen allows me to be immersed in that character's experience far more than if it were a first-person shooter. So I like having Deacon St. John as the central focus of the game, and everything that brings to it. So like, for example, Deacon is an outlaw biker, at least that's what he used to be before the world ended, but he's not an athlete. So it's like you can, so there's a lot of things Deacon can do, but he's not the kind of guy who can run forever. He's got stamina that you got to worry about, and he doesn't have regenerative health, so you got to worry about that. And he's not the kind of guy who's going to be jumping over rocks or flying through the air or any acrobatics at all. So he's the kind of guy that's just sort of grounded in, what would a normal guy be able to do with his fists or with a baseball bat. So again, having that be a way of focusing who the player is and having him be that guy, to us is pretty powerful for the experience.
You mentioned you've been making games for 20 years. I want to ask you, what does being first party open up for your studio creatively? Are there any advantages to that over, having been over multi-platform?
Oh, there's huge advantages. So Sony is actually, we've been part of Sony for a long time now, and they have the most amazing, creative, collaborative teams. So we have like our music department who went out and found Nathan Whitehead for us, and working with Nathan to create the score and help, and all the guys that are down in the casting department and having motion capture studios set up in LA where all the talent is, and all the guys down in San Diego who help with all of the outsourcing for all of a lot of the props you see in the game and a lot of the motion capture thing. I mean, it's a group effort, and there is so much that First Party and Worldwide Studios brings to the table, and that doesn't even count everything we're doing now, which is like everything the awesome PR team does and the marketing teams and localization teams. I mean, it's amazing being part of a worldwide studio that is all sort of lockstep trying to make an experience that will appeal to players all over the world.
So in your game you call them freakers, but what do you think it is about zombies and undead type enemies that have them withstand the test of time, and especially in video games?
So here's the thing about freakers and Days Gone, and one of the reasons why I refuse to call them zombies is because we've built a world that is dynamic and alive. And that doesn't just mean that, hey, it's not about shooting them in the head and now they're already dead and their brain will explode or whatever. It's literally a core system of the game. So the freakers are looking for places to hibernate, and they are looking for places to eat, and they're looking for places to drink, and you learn those patterns. And they respond to day and night differently, they respond to the weather differently, and these are all systems that the player can not only learn, but they can take advantage of. So, these creatures are hungry and they're trying to eat you, but they will eat marauders just as easily, or they will eat a rager bear just as easily. It's like you have to learn how to weaponize them, how to use them against other enemies in the environment if you're trying to accomplish something. So there's no zombie game that I'm aware of that does any of that, and it's like, one of the things I think it's not as simple as making it a different enemy type and calling it something else. It's about really going the extra mile and creating a gameplay loop that is unique to what these things are and how they will react in a dynamic world.
You were also one of the first games that I've realized that had animals be infected with the same type of virus as humans.
Is that true? That's true. That's awesome.
I'm trying to think of a game.
Our goal has always been to create as much danger in the world as we possibly can, and that really came from this notion of wanting to have like an enemy type that could run as fast as a bike realistically, and knock you off the bike, because a human being's not going to be able to do that, and it would just look silly. But having an infected wolf be able to run really, really fast, and the same thing with like a big tank type creature, right? So we do have infected humans that are large and dangerous, like the breakers, but they are not nearly as terrifying as a bear, because bears are terrifying anyway. And if you infect a bear and wrap barbed wire around him, then suddenly that thing becomes, in the player's mind and in the experience of the game, it becomes something that is really terrifying. So infected animals offered us a way to expand the influence of the virus, but in a way that is really, really scary.
What does new generations of hardware like the PS4 Pro open up for your studio creatively?
the biggest thing about the PS4 Pro, because one of the things we love is the fact that the game is in HDR, which you've seen it today, so you know that looks amazing. That's also on the base PS4, but it's about 4K. It's like we're dynamic 4K, and man, it's like there's something about that level of detail on a 4K screen that it just looks amazing.